mommy and daddy tried really You know mommy and daddy tried really hard for you? Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, thank you for stopping by. My name is Monica and I am married with two beautiful baby boys. Cute picture and cute picture. So basically I just wanted to make this vlog today about our infertility journey. Ever since I mentioned doing it on Instagram, I have gotten asked about it quite a lot. It's been months since I said I was going to make this video. I just haven't gotten the chance to get around to it, and honestly I was kind of just pushing it off for a couple reasons. One, I didn't want people to think I was looking for sympathy or attention just by making this video. I just know that I really enjoyed watching these videos when I was going through it. And then secondly, you're gonna hear crying and screaming probably because Raheem is out there with the boys. Secondly, it's not an easy thing to just post with the world and share about. And then last but not least, I know a lot of people have it worse than me. Some people try for a baby for 10 plus years, or even worse, some people lose full-term babies, and I just cannot even imagine the pain that they feel. So it's gonna be so loud, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I just didn't want to make it seem like I had it worse than anyone else, but I'm just making this video. Hopefully I can help other women or other men, because men deal with infertility as well. They're in the journey with us. But yeah, so with that, I'm going to be talking about my journey with CLOMID, LETROZOLE, Avidril. For each, I have 2 pregnancies to talk about, so I use different things for each pregnancy, and also our 5 losses. So we did lose 5 babies, so I've been pregnant a total of 7 times, which is crazy for me to say out loud. So rewinding back to about 4.5 years ago, Mason is 2.5 now. It took us 2.5 years to try for Mason. And then it took us 1 year to try for Matic. So rewinding all the way back to before Mason came along or even thought of, Raheem and I had moved in together, and we had gotten pregnant on accident, but we were still going to keep the baby, and we were actually pretty excited about it. We ended up telling our whole family, pretty much everyone, family, friends. And I ended up losing the baby, and it was my very first miscarriage, and I was almost in the 2nd trimester. I was like right there. I think it was about to be 11 weeks. I was 10 going on 11 weeks. So I just remember having a lot of cramping and bleeding, and I had went to the emergency room, and you know, he said, you're having a miscarriage, your HCG levels have dropped. And this was new territory for me. Like, I was like, what? How? Like, in my mind I was like, why am I having a miscarriage? Like, I don't deal with these kinds of things. My mom is fertile, my whole family is fertile. And then he explained to me that, you know, every 1 in 4 women will experience a miscarriage. So I was like, okay, you know, I didn't know it was that often, but okay, I guess. You know, we were really sad about it. We had told everyone, we told our family, we were making plans about where a crib was gonna go. So we were really invested into that pregnancy. And okay, so where was I? Yes, we had lost that baby. And I remember sitting there, and Raheem was like, he brought it up to me and was like, Monica, let's try again, you know, like, because we were so excited, so invested. So immediately, you know, I gave my body time to heal, and we started to try again. This was when things got a little rocky. So like I said, we tried for 2.5 years to have Mason, and in those 2 years, between the last miscarriage, we had 2 more, so we had a total of 3 miscarriages before conceiving Mason. We were trying and trying and trying, and I just wasn't getting pregnant, and I remember feeling like, what the heck, like, what is wrong? Because my mom, this whole time I was just thinking, you know, my mom is super fertile, I'm gonna be super fertile, because my mom had me at 16, like, just one time, and she just got pregnant with me. So I always expected the same for myself, and I was always cautious because I thought, you know, I was so fertile. So about a year had went by. We did lose another baby in between. but that one was really early. I have to say all of my losses were first trimester losses. And then after a year had went by and we had no luck, I decided to go to my OBGYN and tell her, you know, we've been trying and we're not succeeding. And I remember being so nervous because I'm 24 this month. I turned 24 now, but during the time I was 21 when I had Mason, so I was so young. And you know, it's not normal for people to try for babies at such a young age. And I remember her thinking, like, I thought she was going to think, like, why is this young girl coming in here asking for fertility medicine? And of course she was like, you know, you're really young, but let's just do some blood work. I did some blood work. I did an x-ray. Oh my god, what was the x-ray called? I can't think of it. It's like HCG. I don't remember what the x-ray was called, but they inject dye into your fallopian tubes to see if there's a blockage in them. And your fallopian tubes are about as thin as a strand of hair. No one told me that it was going to be that uncomfortable, but it was super painful. And I had went by myself for that appointment because I was like, you know, I'm just getting an x-ray. I remember the nurses or whatever they were in the room just giving me these crazy looks because, you know, I looked young then, but I've always looked way younger than my age, so I probably looked like 16. But they double checked a couple times, like, are you sure, like, you're here for this? And I was like, yes, hi, it's me. Those results came back fine. She did see a problem in my blood work, so she did suggest that I try CLOMID. And CLOMID is a fertility drug, obviously. So I said yes, and being on CLOMID was horrible. I mean, I stuck through it because I wanted a baby so bad. Like, I wanted a baby so bad. There was no words to explain it. And if you're dealing with this, then you know how that feels. But if you're not, you can't even compare it to anything else because you just feel like this is one thing that you're supposed to have for yourself, especially as a woman, one thing that you're supposed to do, and your body is not doing it. And I just felt like at this time I had to work for every little thing that I had in my life, and this was one thing that was supposed to be easy for me, and in no way, shape, or form was it easy. So I tried the CLOMID. Within 2 months I gained 12 pounds, and I never had gained weight from anything before. I've always been pretty small. So yeah, it basically felt like, if you know that like really uncomfortable, bloated, crampy, miserable feeling that you have when you're on your period and everything in the world is annoying you, that's how you feel the whole entire month that you are taking CLOMID. At least that's how it felt for me. But I didn't care at the same time because, like I said, I just wanted a baby so bad. I had hot flashes all the time. My mood swings were crazy. So we started the CLOMID and it wasn't working. I was so excited to get the CLOMID. You know, you can have multiple babies on CLOMID. You can conceive twins or triplets or more. And I just was not conceiving at all. And that's when it hit me, like, oh my god, like something is really wrong. Like, this is going to be really hard for us. We did 3 rounds of CLOMID, and we were on our very last round of CLOMID. Once you get to the 3rd round, you have to take a break. You have to give your body a break. So I was hoping and praying that this 3rd round would work, and it's our very last shot, and boom, we got pregnant. And I remember just sitting there and crying, and I had taken the test when, so every morning Raheem and I would get up, and he would go to work, and I would go to school. I was still in nursing school at the time, and then I would go to work, and then, we would rotate. So he went to work first. So he ended up leaving the house before me by like 10 minutes. So he left the house, and I woke up and I took a test because I wanted to surprise him if it was positive. And so I went in and took a test, and it was positive, very much positive. And he wasn't expecting me to test yet because I wasn't supposed to miss my period for another day. And he had forgot something at the house, so he ended up coming back. But I was so just overwhelmed with happiness and joy that I ended up telling him, like, I showed him, and he didn't believe me, and I had to show him the test. And that was probably the most beautiful, raw moment that I'll never forget because he was so excited. Like, after 2.5 years, and the CLOMID on the very last round worked, I remember he was crying and like hitting the table, like, because he was just so excited and I was so excited, and we still didn't tell anyone, and we ended up losing that baby. So that loss right there was really, really hard for us. Like, that was the point breaker. And I have to say, you know, with each pregnancy, I was also trying progesterone with each pregnancy. I was on blood thinners, so anything that could have been giving me at the point of conception to help, you know, have a baby was being given to me. And I'm like all over the place with this video, but it's been so long that I'm just trying to remember. So that loss was really, really, really hard for us. And I remember getting the call from my doctor saying, like, you know, your HCG levels are dropping, your body is gonna have a miscarriage soon. And I just remember like sitting there on the phone, like, what do I even say? Like, I was embarrassed, I was sad, I was feeling all of these emotions, all of my hope and everything just drained from my body. And he was sitting right there with me, and I just remember asking my doctor, like, why, like, what is wrong? This is the third one. And at that point she was just like, you know, I don't know, there's no more that I can really do except, you know, what I'm doing for you. And she explained to me that she was an OBGYN, she wasn't a specialist, she was just giving me the CLOMID because, you know, she can, and she's had high success rates with it before. And so I ended up hanging up the phone because she was just saying at that point she had no more advice for me, and I had to stop taking the CLOMID because I was already on the last round. So I hung up the phone and I just started crying, and I just remember Raheem was hugging me, and I just expressed to him that I didn't want to do it anymore, that I was done trying to conceive a baby because it was too much. It was too much on me emotionally. It was too much for my body to keep going through these painful miscarriages. And he said okay. He said okay that we would stop. He said he didn't want to stop forever, but he could tell that it was taking a toll on me. And then, so, it's just so, like, crazy thinking back to that. Like, I feel like I'm so blessed now, looking at my life now and back to how I felt back then. But anyway, from there, we said that we would stop, and I remember being so angry for a long time. And so you're not supposed to have sex after a miscarriage. I think for that whole month you're just supposed to let your body heal, but we didn't listen, obviously. Oops, but not oops, because this is when we conceived Mason. I had my miscarriage and wasn't taking anything at all. I wasn't getting my period, but I thought it was normal because after you have a miscarriage it can take a really long time for your period to come back. So I just thought it was normal. We weren't trying for a baby anymore, so I wasn't expecting to be pregnant. And then one day I was like, you know, let me just take a test because something's not right. So I took a test and it said positive, and I was like, oh my god. I remember telling him, like, we're gonna go through this again, and I just still felt really angry and really detached. And at this time I'm pregnant with Mason. And so I didn't go to the doctors. I still had leftover progesterone and blood thinners that I had from all my previous miscarriages. I still took it. I want to say I had a little bit of hope with me, but pretty much it was all drained at that point. But I took it anyway just because, you know, it was the right thing to do. So weeks had went by and weeks, and I was like, Raheem was like, you know, I think you should make a doctor's appointment. So I made a doctor's appointment, still in like denial. I went in and she was like, you know, I want to say that this is the same baby from last time, but it's not, because your HCG level went back down to normal. The baby was completely out, but I conceived Mason after my miscarriage, not directly after my miscarriage, not like grossly after my miscarriage like that, but within the next month I had conceived Mason, not on anything, not on any fertility medicine. But you are really fertile after having a miscarriage, just like you are really fertile after giving birth. So there's that. I conceived Mason. We had a healthy pregnancy for him. I didn't start to get attached to Mason in my belly because of it until I hit the second trimester. I was like, okay, now I can dive all the way in, because I was so scared that I was going to lose him. Every little thing you can ask my family, I was just overboard like crazy and just scared that I was gonna lose him, and I'm just so grateful that I have him now, like you don't even know. But anyway, and then after we had Mason, we sat down and talked about it and was like, you know, we want him to have siblings. We knew what we were up against and that we were going to try. We weren't going to full on try, like, you know, CLOMID, all of that, but we were definitely having unprotected sex the whole time after he was born, because we just knew what we were up against. So immediately after having Mason, not immediately, like I had a C-section, I gave my body time to heal. About a couple months after having Mason, we conceived again, and I was like, oh my god, like maybe my infertility is gone, like I conceived like that. You know, they say you're more fertile after having your first baby, but I was wrong because we lost that baby as well. And then so we were like, okay, this is good that we had decided on trying again. We got pregnant again on our own, and we lost that baby as well. Right before Mason turned 1, I decided to go back to see a fertility specialist. And I was super nervous again because I was only 21 years old. Actually, this time 22. I was 22 years old, and I was so nervous. I walked in and, you know, I thought everybody was going to judge me because, once again, I looked really young. This was a really big thing for me, and looking back, I don't know why. Because it's not like I was in the wrong place in my life. I just felt like I was being judged for looking so young in a fertility, you know, specialist's office or whatever. They did the same tests on me that my doctor had done previously, and they ended up finding out that I had polyps in my uterus, so I had to have surgery to remove them, because it could have been a factor of me not maintaining a pregnancy. So I had surgery, removed the polyps, had to wait a month, and then we started a new drug because I said I didn't want to try the CLOMID because it was unsuccessful for us in the past. So they put me on a medication called LETROZOLE, which is supposed to be just like CLOMID but just a little different. And I had great success with LETROZOLE. I can't even, like, I had barely any symptoms from it. No weight gain. I felt great on it. I felt like myself. And then we also tried Ovidrel, which is a shot that goes in your stomach to help you ovulate. So you know when you take the shot, I hope I'm right, exactly 24 to 48 hours you are going to ovulate. So you basically plan your intercourse. So you're on the fertility medicine, you take the shot around ovulation. It's supposed to like give you a boost, you know, help you ovulate more, because we were thinking that I was having eggs, like I have a good amount of eggs, but they weren't maturing all the way, so the shot was just helping them to mature, because I could have been having the miscarriages because my eggs were not maturing all the way, which would have not led to a healthy baby. So that's what she thinks it is. So we did the Ovidrel, the timed intercourse, and we were successful. We got pregnant with Maddox. I had called them because I didn't take a test, they just checked my blood level. And they were like, so you're pregnant, but your HCG level is really low. It's a 10. And it's supposed to be much higher than that. So I was like, oh my god, you know, we're going to lose this baby too. But we didn't. I called back 2 days later, and it's supposed to at least double, and it was in the 500s or something like that. And then we kept taking it to make sure that, you know, my levels were going up, and by the 3rd time it was up. And I went in and had an ultrasound, and there was Maddox. And I just hope that by me sharing my journey, knock knock baby, you want to come in? Hi. So like I said, guys, I just hope by me sharing my journey gives someone at least a little bit of hope, because these beautiful faces are so worth it. So don't give up. Like I said, I wanted to give up both times, and I'm so thankful that I was able to conceive them. They are totally worth the pain that you have to go through and the hard work. But yeah, make sure you subscribe to our channel. If you liked it, give this video a thumbs up, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.